Everyone, and thank you, Mr. Williams. I just wanted to use this opportunity to give a brief report of the pre-strike meeting that would have been held this afternoon. It was called on short notice to be convened from 2:30 p.m. That meeting would have just ended in the last 15 to 20 minutes. However, we did have a good representative cross-section of the public sector as well as private sector agencies, to whom we are grateful for having responded on such short notice to make this meeting possible. We would have had approximately 40 persons here at NEMA who would have used the opportunity to update the the cabinet representatives, the Attorney General and myself, and also to update the various members of the different district groups, as well as we would have had reports from the permanent secretaries, particularly those in areas that are of key concern as we prepare for a storm. And in essence, we would have basically received a picture of a general state of preparedness. And I think, to their credit, a lot of it had to do with the fact that we are already in emergency operations as of the start of our COVID first case that would have been announced on March 25th. And as a result of that, we would have seen quite a bit of infrastructure improvements in terms of our national security infrastructure, in terms of the health infrastructure, in terms of the community centers that would double as hurricane shelters. And as a result of that, we find that we are now better poised this hurricane season around by the need that we would have had to put in place as a cabinet and as a country in terms of capitalizing and reinvesting in plant and operations as we build out our emergency responses over the past several months. However, needless to say, we are at the point where, based on the information that has been provided to us from Mr. Elmer Burke, where a decision will be announced shortly, most likely from the head of the cabinet, the Honorable Prime Minister, who is due to address the nation this evening, as usual, at 8 p.m. for leadership matters, in terms of the decision on business closures of government offices. But it stands to reason, if we are expecting the storm to have an earliest landfall at 8 a.m., with the peak of it being around midday tomorrow, that it would not be advisable for persons to expect to venture out tomorrow for work, whether that is in the private sector or the public sector. Of course, we remind everyone that this does not necessarily apply to our emergency workers. So fire, the police, the defense force, the health sector, the staff of NEMA, etc., would have to be in a position to be on first alert and ready to respond in the event of an emergency, while this is predicted to be a tropical storm and not to accelerate to the point of being a hurricane. While it passes us, we still have a responsibility to be prepared to the best of our ability. We would have also received updates from the various district managers, as I indicated, particularly from districts 1, 2, 7, and 8, in terms of those persons who are available on short notice to be here. But we were basically comforted by the fact that, for the most part, all of the district officers would have done community walkthroughs. Some will be doing some extra ones by this evening. And then we would have had the benefit of information in terms of preparedness from our utility providers, Skelec, Flow, the Digicel unfortunately couldn't make it, but from also the cable. In terms of their state of readiness, we would have heard from the SCASPA manager. We would have also heard from the manager of the RLB International Airport, from also the Commissioner of Police and Commander Comrie from Fire Services, etc., in terms of their state of preparedness. We wish to admonish our citizens and residents to please utilize the media that you have available to you, whether it's on the TV stations. We are advised by the cable that by this evening they would have had a call on Channel 8, I think it's a cable channel, for CNN. And 16, sorry, yes, it has now changed now that they've gone ultra. It's no longer 8. And also, we have been promised by the cable that Channel 95 will also be made available if necessary. We also advise our citizens and residents to stay tuned to the local radio stations. On that note, we were assured by ZIZ that they do have a backup generator system and also a data line that will be available to them, provided by the cable, in the event that there is an issue with their being offline. As we are all aware, the ZIZ operates mainly on the FM station at the moment. The AM modulation had been out of commission for more than 2 years, but they will be providing that essential services. And of course, an announcement will be made relative to the partial activation of the NEOC. But I should remind us all that we are still under a state of emergency. So NEOC has never really been disbanded, but we just meant that they will be on high alert, meaning that they will have to take up residence here at NEMA to be on alert, to be able to receive emergency calls, and to relay messages so that care and attention and emergency response could be relayed to the persons who are in need. I will stop there in case there are questions from the media.